When you go through deep waters, I will be with you. And when you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fire of oppression, you will not be burned up, and the flames will not consume you. For I am the Lord your God.
A lot is going on in our world right now, as all of you know, from pandemic to protests to record unemployment, times of crisis. You don't have time for very complicated things. Just so much is going on. What to do in difficult times.
Father, I command right now the host of angels to surround them, to protect them, to uplift them, so that whatever they are fighting, they shall know they are not in the battle alone. For we can fight much better when we know there's someone by their side. And Father, when we know you are with us.
You have to have your own relationship. You have to have your own confidence in God. You have to have your own faith in God. Anyone else can say whatever they want to say, but what I will say of the Lord. He is my refuge and my fortress. He is my God, and He's the one I'm trusting.
No matter what, we're gonna look good. That's the bottom line.
And the time had arrived, as Dr. King says, nothing in all the world is more powerful than an ideal whose time has come.
Hot zone that is New Orleans, the city with the highest death rate in the country. Streets typically vibrant with music and tourists.
The coronavirus death toll is climbing in New Orleans.
Across Louisiana, the numbers are simply staggering.
It scared me. I'm telling you, it's like I screamed. It's like you're kidding me.
and anxiety in Atlanta as the city grapples with a fatal police shooting that started with no hint of confrontation.
It's unreal to witness here, Chris. This police line, we just saw an officer extracted, an officer was down.
Where you at? 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 Okay. I'ma take him to my city, man. Yeah. I got that shot town. I got that Maywood. I got that.
Well, I was born and raised here in Montgomery, Alabama. I lived here until I moved in 1980. I started here at Alabama State in 1975. Then I graduated in 1980. There I moved to Ohio. And that's where my career started, you know, teaching high school for 8 years. And I went on and got my master's, and I started working at Central State University in Ohio, Wilberforce, for the last 12 years. And at that point, 2000, I was asked to come back home and to take over the job here at ASU as the head band director. And I give God all these blessings because my circle is not completed. I started here, now I'm back here, and it was absolutely a wonderful feeling to come back home.
While my time here has now come to an end, I want you to know that in the last days and hours of my life, you inspired me. You filled me with hope about the next chapter of the great American story when you used your power to make a difference in our society. Millions of people motivated simply by human compassion laid down the burdens of division. Around the country and the world, you've set aside race, class, age, language, and nationality to demand respect for human dignity. That is why I had to visit Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington. Though I was admitted to the hospital the following day, I just had to see and feel it for myself that after many years of silent witness, the truth is still marching on. Emmett Till was my George Floyd. He was my Rayshard Brooks, Sandra Bland, and Breonna Taylor. He was 14 when he was killed, and I was only 15 years old at the time. I will never ever forget the moment when it became so clear that he could easily have been me. In those days, fear constrained us like an imaginary prison. and troubling thoughts of potential brutality committed for no understandable reason were the bars. Though I was surrounded by 2 loving parents, plenty of brothers, sisters, and cousins, their love could not protect me from the unholy oppression waiting just outside that family circle. Unchecked, unrestrained violence and government-sanctioned terror had the power to turn a simple stroll to the store for some Skittles or an innocent morning jog down a lonesome country road into a nightmare. If we are to survive as one unified nation, we must discover what so readily takes root in our hearts that could rob Mother Emanuel Church in South Carolina of her brightest and best, shoot unwitting concert goers in Las Vegas, and choke to death the hopes and dreams of a gifted violinist like Elijah McClain. Like so many young people today, I was searching for a way out, or some might say a way in. And then I heard the voice of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on an old radio. He was talking about the philosophy and discipline of nonviolence. He said we are all complicit when we tolerate injustice. He said it is not enough to say it will get better by and by. He said each of us has a moral obligation to stand up, and speak out. When you see something that is not right, you must say something. You must do something. Democracy is not a state. It is an act, and each generation must do its part to help build what we call the beloved community, a nation and world society at peace with itself. Ordinary people with extraordinary vision can redeem the soul of America by getting in what I call good trouble, necessary trouble. Voting and participating in the democratic process are key. The vote is the most powerful nonviolent change agent you have in a democratic society. You must use it because it is not guaranteed. You can lose it. You must also study and learn the lessons of history because humanity has been involved in this soul-wrenching existential struggle for a very long time. People on every continent have stood in your shoes through decades and centuries before you. The truth does not change, and that is why the answers worked out long ago can help you find solutions to the challenges of our time. Continue to build union between movements stretching across the globe, because we must put away our willingness to profit from the exploitation of others. Though I may not be here with you, I urge you to answer the highest calling of your heart and stand up for what you truly believe. In my life, I have done all I can to demonstrate that the way of peace, the way of love and nonviolence is the more excellent way. Now it is your turn to let freedom ring. When historians pick up their pens to write the story of the 21st century, let them say that it was your generation who laid down the heavy burdens of hate at last, and that peace finally triumphed over violence, aggression, and war. So I say to you, walk with the wind, brothers and sisters, and let the spirit of peace and the power of everlasting love be your guide.